Hello, Achievers, and welcome to the Next Level Author Podcast, episode 15, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author businesses. My name's Daniel Wilcox, and here with me every week is...
Sacha Black.
Yeah! That's week 2. That's it.
You're testing me again.
I was.
I swear, you're testing me now because I've literally, off camera blanked you when you were talking to me.
That is literally why I did it.
I'm sorry, all right?
Right, so for listeners and viewers, basically I was talking to Daniel and he just fucking zoned out on me, just was staring off into something else, reading all of our very wonderful comments for the week, but fuck you for not listening.
Doesn't bode well for this episode, so if there's an awkward pause, just edit that out.
As well, I will if it's me pausing.
Thing is, I obviously you're never aware when you drift off. But, I'm not.
I mean, drift off.
I'm not. I don't know. It was that moment where I heard you speaking again, and then obviously you stopped, and I was suddenly like, oh, right, yeah. There's no way of getting out of this.
Also, it was so obvious. So it's just like, wow, Dan, wow.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I will forgive you. Okay. How have you been? How's your week been?
It's been good. It's been long. It's been a week. Yeah, it's been a weird one. I took pretty much Tuesday off because I woke up and my body and mind were having literally none of it. And I think I'm now at a point where I can tell that there's literally no point pushing through those days. And the only thing that you can do is suck it up and try again the next day. But I hate it because having those days is literally like when your body literally says stop, rest, because it's not scheduled, it kills me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it could be at the weekend where it's more. I probably worse because I've got my son and I obviously want to give him my attention. But it's like I've got things that I need to do, and you have that kind of just that worry because then it gets burdened on with I need to catch up, and that doesn't really help when you're trying to relax and rest it off a bit. But I think I'm getting better at just recognizing when those moments are and letting myself recover. And then
the other problem with us as indies, there is actually never a time where there is nothing to do. When you're in your day job, you can get to a point where you've done everything and then you're waiting for other people and therefore you can relax. But as an indie and as a business owner, we are the biggest bastard bosses ever because there is never a time where there is nothing to do. The minute you finish something, there's 5,000 other things that need doing. And so it's just endless.
Just big and small, 1,000 things. And obviously that then, like I say, adds on to what I was planning on doing Wednesday. But I have had quite a successful end of the week at least and sort of smashed a load of stuff out. And yeah, I'm feeling much better now. I think I needed that day. I did need that day. But how about you?
I am fucked. I'm so tired. Yeah, I mean, I hit the wall.
Welcome
this
to
afternoon.
Why Not to Be a Full-Time Writer podcast.
Right? Welcome to Dan and Sacha's bitch about how tired they are.
I'm just sick of it.
No, but can I just caveat this conversation? We would never change this for a million years, £1 million, never change it. But I very much hit the wall this afternoon. And I think it's because my mum's just had my son for 2 days. So I got up at 8. No, I got up at 7:30 and was at the desk at 8, mostly faffing, but by 8:30 I was working and I didn't really stop working until 9:30 at night without a break. So, and I did that basically both days. And then I got to about 3 o'clock this afternoon and was like, wow, I am fucking tired. and then I was like, why am I so tired? Where the fuck do you think
I wonder.
Yeah, I know. But I just don't acknowledge that. Just in my brain, I just think that I should be able to just keep working, and I just apparently can't, and it's really annoying.
It is weird when your mind wants to, but your body just doesn't. Because I think that was partly what led to my Tuesday burnout. Was Monday night, I was I feel in the mood to work, so I worked into the evening after starting at 6 o'clock that morning.
I'm laughing because I just know exactly what you're talking about.
It's literally if I'm in the mood, I might as well just do work because. It goes fast when you're in the mood, you get more done. And then the next day, just no more.
Like,
you did bad.
Yeah, that sound effect's what happened to me this afternoon. Is I literally like careened into a wall, and just like I sat on the sofa and just like at the TV for like a whole film. Can't fucking tell you what the film was about, but I know I watched one. Like, literally no clue. Oh, and then so the other thing we have to tell listeners about is our challenge. So as you know, each week we challenge each other to achieve our things that we said we're going to do, and if we don't, there's a forfeit. And Dan is the only one who's done a forfeit so far. I won't be too smack.
So far, I feel good about this one.
Just in case. Yeah, I know. It's just in case. But yeah, so last week, basically, I pitched a fit and was like, I need to come off the sugar. And I don't really know how it happened, but it ended up that me and Dan were basically in like a bitch fight over who, whether or not to stop eating sugar. So excuse me, we stopped on Thursday was the last night. Thursday the 2nd of July was the last night we could eat sugar. I
devoured the rest of my hobnobs.
I pretty much ate an entire box of Gullion, so let's not really talk about who ate what. And it probably wasn't the only thing I'd eaten, let's be real. And so we've gone through a whole week, and we should have mentioned it on the podcast last time, but I think we were both
fucked.
Yeah, both in like heavy withdrawal. All we could do was survive for the podcast.
Oh, the first day or two was awful. Like it shouldn't have been that bad. But I will confess that, like, I don't know what it's been, but like the last 2.5-3 weeks before that moment, just got into the habit of, buying. Like, I'm a sucker for biscuits. Like, if I buy a packet of biscuits, they do not last long. And I've also discovered that I really, really like dark chocolate and Bourneville lately. So I've been like basically just working through probably a lot more than I should have. And so my body on the whole of Friday was like, where are they? Now's the time, isn't it? Well, every time's the time. Where are they? And I'd be like, and just like carry on doing my thing. And then I'd be like, dude, where are they? Come on.
And that only got worse.
It was difficult.
Yeah, and it's been continually difficult for me. And but anyway, we have survived, and we are at a week. So high five, buddy. We survived a week. I'm like, yeah, 5. So we're doing this, and also I should just be 100% clear. This is a last man standing kind of challenge. So there will be a forfeit on the podcast for whoever fucks up first.
And we're both quite stubborn.
Yep.
So however, what I have enjoyed your messages the last couple of days. Just the evenings of like, I want a chocolate.
I know. And then you're like,
fucking hate you.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, just have a cheat night then. And I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm not falling off the wagon.
I love it. What I do love is like how I'm viewing this relationship, or how it seems to be unfolding, is that you tend to mention something that you fancy doing. I realise that I've wanted an accountability partner for a long time, and I need someone to help me, and that there aren't a lot of people in my circle who will actually stick to the things. And then I literally go, okay, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm like, wait,
there's something else.
No.
I don't think there's something else I don't think we're going to talk about yet. But that was mentioned, and already that sort of started picking up steam, and it's just now like potentially rolling down the hill, getting out of control.
Basically, we have to learn to not say anything unless like we want it to happen, because both of us I think we both have that, it's happening now, and then the other one won't back down, so then we're like, fuck.
Literally, I've never had it so bad that like I've been staring at the biscuit tin, and literally the voice in my head is going like, you could just do it and not tell her, and then the other part's going like, no, I need the moral victory.
Yes. Like, I even told Chloe, I was like, Chloe, I am going to win this morally. Like, I will.
So we're not going to eat sugar for 27 years.
I know. Basically. Oh my God, I think I've got the giggles.
Because I can picture us basically like meeting up and going somewhere, and then being like, okay, let's agree to end this. And we both got like something in our hands. And then as it comes to our mouth, like, you first. No, you first. At the same time. I knew you weren't going to go.
Oh my God, that's exactly how I see it in my head too. Yeah, but I even told Chloe, because I was like, I can't, I just how you're saying about the moral victory, like, I just won't cheat because I'm not that kind of person, because I have to know in my head that I won fair and square. Oh my God, where have we gone on this podcast? And we haven't even got to the question. Okay, what have you been enjoying this week?
So I will go for, I've been watching a series on Netflix called Unsolved Mysteries. I don't know if you've seen it advertised at all, but
I bet Chloe's watched it.
It's really, really good. It's really good inspiration, particularly for people who are looking like down the route of like mysteries and thrillers and whatnot, because they're basically like real life cases of people who have gone missing, and there have been pieces of the case that just don't make sense. One of them is about a UFO experience that a group of people in a small town, they're all in the US and a lot of them are in South America, so it says a lot. No offense if you're from South America, I didn't mean it. But all these people in this town have like a collective experience, or like a good number of people in this town have a collective experience of being abducted and things like that. And it just goes into like the history behind it and all the stories. And it's really good for just, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, these stories are genuine things that I could apply to some mystery elements within a horror or within like a dark thriller or something. And just because they're real, it almost justifies sometimes the absurdity of the ideas that you have yourself. So that's mine, Unsolved Mysteries.
Did you hear me coughing at the start then? Or did I manage to mute myself?
It was C sharp, wasn't it? C sharp.
Oh no, so I didn't mute myself.
No. It was only a little cough. You're fine.
Oh no, it was huge. It felt huge.
Oh, then yes.
Oh, I did mute myself.
I heard a little bit.
Oh, okay, but then not the whole of it. Oh, no. Whatever. I will just edit it out. It's fine. Anyway, my call of the week. That does sound cool. And also, like, I'm almost certain that Chloe will have watched it, or if not watched it, she will want to. So I'm going to tell her about that.
Yeah. There is, I'll quickly add, there is, I think it's the end of episode 2, maybe. One of the creepiest things I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth in relation to the case, to the point that, like, me, the horror author, got freaked out by what he said and how he said it. I won't say any more, but there was like a 30-second clip of, I'll give people a bit of a clue of like when a guy is holding someone's ashes and he says some stuff, and I'm like, I've never been more freaked out in my life.
Well, I want to know what it was now.
Well, I'm going to get it wrong if I say it, so people watch it. I believe it's at the end of episode 2 or something.
I'm definitely asking you off air. Okay, my call of the week is, so Joanna Penn talked about this on her podcast, or I think it was her podcast or somewhere anyway. And I then promptly forgot about it until I was browsing Netflix and then saw it and was like, saw the trailer, because I always watch the trailers on Netflix because I hate starting something that's shit. It's just inefficient and a waste of my time. So I always watch trailers. So Warrior Nun, oh my God, I'm obsessed. It is amazing. And we watched, I think, 2 or 3 episodes last night, and I was like, but like, are you sure you want to go to sleep now? Like, are you sure you want to go to sleep? As Clary's like half conscious, and I'm like, can't we just do one more? They're only short, go on. But no, so yes, that is my thing I'm loving this week. It's called Warrior Nun. And it's just do yourself a favor and watch it. I'm not sure if you'll like it. What
form of warrior is it? Is it warriors in a fighting nun, or is it warriors in a nun that is concerned? No,
fighting. She's a badass warrior. Yeah, so like fights demons, and it's awesome.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. It's what a concept. Whoever came up with that is a genius. Okay, weekly confessional. How did you do?
I completed it. I finished my second round of edits on When Winter Comes 2, went to readers and people to do their magic, and also as of today finished the collaboration project non-fiction project I'm working on, which I'm very, very happy with, because I did worry that Tuesday off was going to affect it, but again, I found that writing nonfiction is a lot of fun, particularly when you're writing about something that you know well. There's something quite gratifying about, because you have knowledge stored in your head, And then when you try and speak and communicate to people, sometimes it's difficult. So it's almost like a way to process the stuff that you think you know, to try and find the right way to teach it to someone. So yeah, I finished the first draft of that, which I'm going to clean up and then basically get ready to ship out and do whatever needs to be done to it. But yeah, hit mine. Happy days.
Well
How about you?
Yeah, I love what you just said. And that's actually why I started writing nonfiction, was literally sorting out knowledge in my head. So yeah, I completely
It's given me an idea for a possible other nonfiction book.
Oh, I definitely want to hear about that off air. Okay, so I can't actually remember exactly what I was supposed to do. I think I was supposed to
10 slide decks.
Shut up. No, I did not. You're such a knob. I think I had to do 1 slide deck, which I've done one, and I started on one of the bigger topics for modules, and I'm so close to finishing that. So, and that's kind of like 2 in 1. So I would say I've done 2 3/4, which I'm quite pleased with. Yep. I'd like to get to the end of that and possibly one more by the weekend, but we'll see. Anyway, the important thing is I did it. Also, prime the audio booth, I believe I had to do, which I did do, and I took some great time-lapse videos as well.
I love it.
And yeah, and I'm going to do like a tutorial and see if we can time-lapse building it as well when we build it in here. So yeah, I'm going to put down all the materials I did and how we did it and the measurements and all that kind of stuff, so that if anybody else wants to build themselves a phone booth style audio booth, they can.
Get your whiteboard up. That's not on there, but
yeah, that wasn't awesome on there. But yes, my beautiful whiteboard is actually, this is a new whiteboard, which is massive, and I'm in love with it. And what else? There was one other thing: work on Trey, which I did. The audio booth. Oh yeah, and the slide deck. So yeah. I hit my goals.
Beautiful.
Oh, question of the week.
So the question of the week last week was, how do you defeat imposter syndrome? And we had a bunch of comments, so I'll just work through some of them. Maddie Williams says, defeat not so much, bottle up and save for a later date. Definitely. I usually talk to my mum or cousin so that I can get my fears and whatnot out, which then frees up my mind to focus on my writing. I feel like I should have more tasks on my weekly lists, but have no clue what to do or what's next. That's common for me. I think that never goes away always, because you're guiding your own ship, so you have no idea whether or not what you're doing is right or wrong. But if it feels right, trust your gut. Carrie Hardisky says, I don't think I have imposter syndrome exactly, but definitely the I suck feeling when I can't get done all I want. It's that writer-parent guilt. I get writing done, but the nagging voice says you should have devoted that time to your daughter, which I know we've spoken about on the show before. I don't know what the solution to that is. I think there's that balance, isn't there, between spending time with your kid, but also at the same time, you need to have your independence and role model to your kid what a successful person could be. So yeah, no idea what the answer is there. Yanni Jade says, I have a very supportive other half. She is my soundboard, keeps me in check and rallies back and forth with my ideas, helping me figure out things when I'm stuck. Hollyline, I read my reviews. I talk to my writer friends. I'm not sure that little demon can ever be vanquished, but it can be banished long enough to write another day, which I love that sentiment. Caitlin Duncan, I have small defeats when it comes to imposter syndrome. When it creeps up on me, I think of the validation I've had. And then quote, well, you've been signed this many contracts with the big 5, so you can't be that terrible. Or you impacted these readers based on their positive reviews. It's probably not the healthiest way to deal with it, but it's how I get that sucker to go back to its hole so I can write the next book. I love that they're all like gremlins and demons. Jeff Adams says, hey, Jeff, it's not, that's not what he says. That's what I say. It's not
I
so
also
much
say, hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. It's not so much defeat as it is identify, acknowledge, and punch it in the face.
Oh my God, I love that.
It's like my older brother. I usually get it when I finish a book that I really love, sort of a book hangover, and I question how I could ever write a book like that. Of course I can't, because I'm not that author, but it can play temporary mind games with me that I usually banish quickly.
How did I miss all these comments, by the way? Normally I reply to them all, but I think I missed every single comment this week because I didn't know we had this many.
They're in our group that we made.
No, I'm just saying, like I didn't see any of them come in.
No idea. Have you got your notifications on?
Yeah, I'm going to check now. I'm going to write that down.
Jeff also did say there's a great song from a musical called Title of the Show that speaks directly to imposter syndrome, and he shared the link in the Facebook group for anyone that wants to check that out and listen to that. And then finally 2 more. One from Edwin, who says, I duck down the side corridor, climb through a window, sneak through the garden, and enter my writing place through the service grate. Which I love. Basically, like, avoid encountering it at all costs just to get to the goddamn keyboard. And then I'm going to butcher this name.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, Stephen de Koningswater. Who is my dad.
Daddy.
Yes, my daddy.
Says this shouldn't be limited to just authors. This affects a wide range of folks, like maybe me too. Which goes to show as well a bit more about it. I think we touched on it last week that if you're looking at this as a long-term business and as next level authors, I assume that is somewhere on your radar. Take your business tips from everywhere, because business is universal and writing is just the lens that we see the world through, but everything else can be applied. So do use other industries as places to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I need to promptly go back and listen to that episode, because something's come up this week that has thrown me into imposter syndrome. So yeah, cheers, life. Yes. Yeah. No, I told you it was the thing. I told you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Question of the week. Oh, I'm feeling so much pressure because I have two questions which are totally different, and I was like, okay, no, I think I'm going to have to ask the one that I thought of first, which is totally inspired by this week, by the way. So, darling, how do you use competition to level up your business?
So, I think competition for me comes more in personal interaction than what's the word? I guess non-personal interaction. So, for example, I'm very competitive in situations in which I can physically feel myself acting, and I've got a physical competitor. So I was going to say I've not always been competitive, but that's an absolute lie. And it's actually something that like genuinely, like board game nights, video game nights, I'm that person that if I've got a brother that's a year and a half older than me, and we used to play a lot of similar video games, and he basically used to get to the point where he just stopped playing with me, because if he beat me, I would be the guy that practiced for hours in the background until the next time we played so that I could beat him. And I'm only just now realizing that that's a factor. But like when it comes to sports, I'm the person that I never thought that it could be sporty. But then once I got to sort of university or college, when I got to college and started sort of playing much more competitive, like basketball, and I went into university and started playing more basketball, went into free running, things like that. I'd always have a person ahead of me as a figure for who I wanted to be. And it was always, for me, about taking that step. And I guess that mostly primarily the competition is with myself, because I want to reach the best point that I can get. And knowing that you've worked hard and you've reached the next step each time is invigorating, and it's something that's empowering. And I don't know if I'm trying to think which way I'm trying to spin this.
Just the honest, just your way, like, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
don't spin. Just be.
Yeah. So I guess my competitiveness comes out more in personal face-to-face interactions. Obviously, like with our sugar thing, that's now firmly set in place, because it's no longer just, oh, let's come off sugar. It's, can I beat this bitch?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't know, that kind of, that fuels me, that holds me to account. And obviously as a side part, that's going to make me better. But when it comes to things like This is going to be fun for you to stitch together.
I know. I've already written down like 4 different things that need editing off.
Oh. How far did it get before it cut out?
Not very.
We'll start again if you want to on that question, just to make it easier.
Okay.
Let me just send you the still where I was like, are you there? Are you there? Bodes well that it's taking 1,000 years to send a fucking JPEG. There we go. Is that
my face with my 5,000 chins. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
We got to. Oh no! Obviously we heard some, and you were talking about how you're going to spin it, and I was like, no, don't spin. Just be you.
Okay. All right. So I'm trying to think of like a good way to lead in that's going to be like neutral against the rest of it.
No, I'll just. So sorry, listeners. Yeah, sorry, listeners. We had a bit of an internet go down. Death.
Outage?
Wait, no. Yeah, outage. So yes, there is a bit of a skip between what we were saying and where we're lifting off, starting off now. God, I am tired. So yes, you were talking about how you're going to spin this, and I was like, no, don't spin it. And then you were talking about your brother and how you used to like go off in the corner and practice until you could beat him.
Okay. So yeah, I think when it comes to having actual people there or like next steps that I can see and that I almost know, like it's almost literally being able to see that next rung of the ladder and trying to test yourself to see if you can go up there. And that helps me keep accountable and keeps me having something to drive towards. And I like progress. I genuinely think that like progress is the formula for like happiness in life, because as long as if you keep moving towards something positive, then that's awesome. But if we're to bring this around to writing as a business and things, I don't really use competition too much when I'm looking at the charts or looking at like other people within my genre that are doing their thing, because I think I've got it into my head now that I've got my own path and they've got their path. And obviously if they're doing things that are working, then by all means, I'm going to be using them, but I'm not in competition with other authors. I just use the things that work or try the things that are working for them as good practice. Because I think when it comes to author business, my competition is me. It's wanting to try and better what I did last time and just slowly grow. Because I think if you have grandiose dreams of, you know, you've got, let's use Lindsay Broker because she seems to be the staple for success for a lot of people, and rightly so. She does very, very well. I know that within the next few months, I'm not going to be Lindsay Broker. I'm likely not going to be Lindsay Broker. Maybe in a year or two. There are too many factors that I can't control. We write in different genres. She has different tactics. She has a different life. Like, there are just so many differences. And I think a lot of people who or people who get competitive with other authors in their genre on different charts, don't take into account all the things that happen behind the scenes and what people don't tell you they've got going on in their lives. Like most people before I started these podcasts would probably just see me as a writer and not know that like I had a child as well, and that like there were things happening in my private life, like most of last year and the year before. So there's not really like a good point of comparison when you're trying to compete with those. But when it comes to when you could put a face on someone that is a competitor, it just adds that meaning and makes it stick a little bit more. I had a friend at college who I met through basketball, and immediately, I don't know what it was, we just straight went into being competitive, and it was hilarious because he'd basically been playing basketball for about 3 years. I had played basketball for about 3 weeks accumulatively in my entire life, but I loved basketball, but I'd only ever played like probably about 3 weeks when I was 7. And I remember him saying to me, because I genuinely feel like just fake it until you make it. And he came up to me one day and was like, I'm off to play basketball. You're wearing a basketball jersey. Do you want to come play basketball? We seem to have a similar interest. It wasn't that fucking corny, but you get it. And we went and played basketball, and it was very, very apparent very quickly that I had no skill. But within a few months, I literally played with him probably about 5-6 days a week, in lunchtimes, after college, like at the weekends. It was just constantly on the court. And I'm one of those people, I get quite obsessive with certain passions, so I definitely like envelop myself in just doing it until I get good. And even now, like my because I haven't had the proper fitness goal in ages. I can't remember if I told this to you. I think I might have. But I'm currently training to join the local basketball team when the coronavirus pandemic shifts. And I've not played in, how old am I? I've not played properly in about 11 years, 12 years, since college really was the last time I played competitively. But I've got a goal, and now I'm running 3 times a week to build up my stamina. I've got a ball. I'm getting a hoop for my back garden so I can like start practicing my shots and things, just because I want to test where I can take myself. I don't care that like I'm 12 years past whatever fitness stage I was at then, when I was probably close to the fittest that I've been or maybe in my life. I just want to see how far I can go, and I think I'm at a point in my life where like I don't see the point in holding back, because I'm going to be looking back in 5 years and wishing that I did more, because in 5 years' time, somewhere, some part of me is going to degrade to a point where I'm going to be slightly less.
Whoa. Calm the fuck down, Dan. Calm down, because we all know
that's not what I mean.
Yeah, you fucking better not be as well.
No, but I mean, like, it sounds depressing, but obviously the reality of life is that life wears you down. And I'm not making like a 5-year benchmark comparison or anything like that, but just the general principle of like, I just want to give it my all, because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think I use competition a fair bit. I like to do challenges, particularly stupid, or not stupid, but like challenges that seem stupid. Like when I was at college, I did a drink nothing but 2 liters of water a day challenge for 2 weeks, just because I wanted to see what happened. And I got healthier. I actually then continued only drinking water after that for about 3 or 4 months, just because I felt so good from it, and I lost the need to drink other things. I like just experimenting and finding that. Another one that I'll throw in, and then I'll hand over the reins. It's probably not the smartest one I did, but have you heard of Huel?
Yes. Isn't that protein, like a vegetarian protein?
So it's basically, it brands itself as human fuel, which is obviously what from Huel, and it's 100% nutrition in a food drink. So theoretically, you should be able to drink X amount of these a day, up to your recommended calories for your gender, your age, whatever, and then survive. So I tested that theory, and so for 2 weeks. I mean, there's an intro. You have to ease into it. You can't just like go from solids to liquids. Otherwise, like it wreaks havoc. So you ease into it. But I did about 2 weeks solid of just drinking. I think it was 3 or 4 Huels a day, and that was it for food. Just because I wanted to see what happened. I wanted to see if it was possible. And because I was working my arse off in my old job, I was like, I don't have time to eat lunch and all this other stuff. And it just made things really, really easy. So it was okay. The problem, you cannot go from drinking food to one evening where you eat like 3 fajitas, because your body just does not adapt to changes that quickly. And it was probably one of the only times in my life, well, 2 that I've mentioned to you this evening, where I thought I was going to die. So challenges are good, but you have to be sensible, people. You have to be sensible.
You do. I love it. I've been dying to ask you that one all week.
The thing is, I think when I think of myself, I think I'm generally like, quote, the nice guy, like pacifist, like not too bad. But there's just a part of me that
so
I am
competitive. It's unbelievable.
Like, I wouldn't say it's a problem. I think it's just
I don't think
it's a driving force.
Yeah. Okay. So so I don't even know where to start with this. And also, I didn't really prepare. Why do I keep doing this? This is because I couldn't decide which question to ask, so I didn't really compare. So this is going to be like completely me being vulnerable and telling the goddamn truth about myself, which I might not like. Okay, so I hate that I'm competitive. And do you know Becca Syme? I love Becca Syme. I think she's fucking genius. I think she's amazing, mind-boggling woman who she blows my mind. And I did her one of her tests. I can't think which one it was, that tells you all of the different like things that help you to work better, more efficiently. I really want to do her course, by the way. And anyway, my number 1 was competition, and I was livid. I was absolutely livid about it, because I was like, no, I'm not competitive. Like, I don't compete against other people. Rah, rah, rah. And I was so cross that I'd come out as competitive. So my 5 ones were competition, achiever, strategic, learner, and significance, which, when you put them all together, is really quite accurate for me, which is even more annoying because I hate being put in a box, even though I did the test to be put in a box. But of course I wanted to rebel against it. So the more I thought about it, the more I was like, okay, I am actually really competitive, but not against other people. And wait. So when I look at my past and I look at what I've done, I have always, so you were talking about sports, and I've tried to do team sports. I tried hockey for a while. I tried netball for a while, bit of basketball. Couldn't ever really get into sports that depended on other people, which is such a bad thing to say. But as soon as it was a sport where it was only me and I was the only factor affecting my performance, I then thrive and really enjoy those kinds of sports. So, for example, I competed. I've got my NRA marksman, so I am a dead-eye dick. Give me any weapon, and I will get a bullseye from miles away. Like, I don't know what it is, but I break records on army bases. I can get like. So you get something called a posse, which is all bullseyes in a competition, which I used to do. And from like between 500 and 800 meters. And this is with an iron sight. So with no SUSAT, you're not got like a telescopic lens. This is just your iron sights. Anyway, so the point is, so I wanted to go into the army and I wanted to be a sniper, but way back then, they didn't take women on the front line. This was like only a few years before that changed. Anyway, Taekwondo, another sport, relying completely on myself and my what's the word, my can't think of the word, like when you drill yourself, like, what's the word, I can't think of it. Anyway, that's going to really annoy me. But yeah, so when I look at sports, actually I've only ever really enjoyed sports where it's just me and me trying to improve myself. So I think I'm highly competitive with myself, because like you, I don't really look at other authors and think, oh, I want to do better. Why would I don't care.
It's pointless. Yeah.
It's so pointless. Like, I don't care. And also they do other things that I don't want to do. And so I just like, I don't really compete against other people in that respect. When it comes to fun challenges though, that's a completely different matter.
Are we branding this a fun challenge?
Well,
We can associate the word fun with it, but
but also though, I think it's our relationship though. So like, it's the banter that's in it, like, and that's what So like we're going to be 90, buddy, still sugar free.
I sent Sacha a picture of a cookie.
You sent me a picture of a donut. Yeah, we are bastards to each other. But yeah, so like in these circumstances, then I get super competitive, and like also, but you know how so me and Chloe is also very competitive, and so we don't play together. Okay, we don't play because that does not end well. But on a team, we are fucking awesome. So we did like this fun quiz earlier on in lockdown over Zoom with various other friends and family. Like, we just sort of gave each other the look that said, we have to fucking win this, like, no matter what. Like, and we did, obviously. But yeah, so in terms of the thing that I wanted to bring it round to, like truly answering the question, how do I use it to level up my business, is I get highly competitive with myself. So if you remember, when I was launching The Anatomy of Prose, I was almost to the point of frothing at the mouth because I wanted to beat my previous, PreOrder record. And I wanted to do better. I wanted to better myself. I wanted to beat myself. I wanted to beat past me, and I was like messaging you and stropping and throwing my toys out of the pram. I need to do more, I need to be better, I need to be better at marketing, I need to learn more, all of this stuff. So I think I use competition with myself to drive me on, a bit like you were saying. It is a driving force, but very much an insular one, unless it's like like what we're doing with and then in which case I'm like, I will fucking fight you to the end. But yes, but I am, and so I'm kind of coming to the point where I'm accepting that I understand why competition came out number one, because I do like my gold taekwondo medals, and I do want to be the best, and everything that I do, even so, like for example, grading with taekwondo, so you go to your exams to get your new belts. I've got the highest mark you can get for every single one, and but I don't say that with any kind of arrogance. I say it with pride that I practiced that hard, and I rehearsed, and I drilled myself, and I sat night after night after night learning the words. So I use it as a a way to measure my own performance against myself, I think.
And it just happens to be a byproduct that is higher than other people might achieve.
Yeah, and it's not always because if I tried to do it with, I don't know, anything that requires fixing something, like being an electrician, numbers, maths, I'm shit at a lot of stuff. But I think just the things that I'm good at, I use it to drive me on.
I think it's a really interesting question, and it's a chance to kind of reflect on that, because I think sometimes there's a bit of a stigma that having a competitive nature is a bad thing, and I think people almost they fear it or don't want it and don't embrace it. But I think if you use it in the right way, it can 100% be a force that helps you get to where you want to go, and you don't have to be competitive to be successful in this business. If you are successful, then obviously that's what helps you. But I think it's that whole individualized experience, because as you were talking, it kept popping into my head that like I've seen how competitive you get with your own deadlines, which I find fucking hilarious. Like for me, there's that element of like, if I set my own deadlines, but I prefer it if other people set me deadlines, because that's when I'm like, I'm going to go for it because I'm accountable to someone else. But if I set my own deadlines, I'm normally quite good with them, but I do have that sensibility sometimes to be like, I'm just not going to hit it today. I will let it slide for tomorrow. Whereas I feel like you will literally like punch through a wall to try and make sure that you hit that deadline.
Yeah, I take a great deal of pride in being the person I say I'm going to be. So but that's why I'm really careful. I try not to commit to things, because if I say something, I will fucking kill myself in order to do it. Like I will not let go until it is
Let me ask
done.
you a question. Yeah. Has there ever been a situation in which your competitiveness has ended negatively or triggered a negative effect?
Only with myself, like burnout. That is probably the only one that I could say. So yeah, like because I'm just not competitive with other people, because I just don't care. I have never. It's never ended negatively. Like I can lose a game, like that's fine. So if we're playing a family game, I can lose a family game and I don't really care. If it, so like I've lost lots of things over the years, but in terms of negative consequences, the only negative consequence I think is me driving myself into a hole in order to better myself. Yeah, that's really funny that you said that my deadlines are like a competition. I've never really seen it like that, and wow, I feel so seen.
I've also just realised that the way that you speak about like group sports and stuff is slightly different to how I perceive them. I've never really given this much thought until today, but like when you say group sports, obviously you have to rely on other people for your success. Whereas the way that I play group sports, and also you mentioned board games, this kind of applies to that as well, is that I all I care about is that I'm giving my 100% and that I'm being the best that I can. Because those other factors around me, all those other people, I can't control that, but I can control the part that I play. So that's where my competition with myself comes in. And that's similar with board games, in that like I will fucking give it everything I have to win like a family board game. But if I lose, I'm not sour because I tried my hardest.
So I think it depends on the context. So for example, I could go and do like rounders in the field with friends and family, and that's not competitive. I don't care if we lose, that kind of stuff. If I'm on the university hockey team and we lose, I'm going to be pissed off, especially if I've done my best. But that's not necessarily like I don't necessarily care that somebody else didn't play well. I just care that collectively we lost. Yeah. So like it would definitely depend on context. Like I don't like losing, I really don't, and I'm not really afraid to say that. Like I'm sure I'm probably going to get judged really badly for saying that now, but it's honest, and lots of people don't admit to that. I think it's okay to not like losing, because that's not the result we wanted at the end of the day. But yeah, no, like I played hockey for probably like 4 or 5 years, but I just used to find it frustrating when. And it was even worse if I'd underperformed.
Yeah.
Because then I'd let other people down. Like it was much better if somebody else had let me down than me then letting somebody else down. Because then I would kick myself into the ground, you know, like I would absolutely torment myself over that. So, but because of that frustration of things that I couldn't control, that's why I went away from the team sports, because I can't. Because in those situations it is a competition. You are in competition. That is what, you know, unless it's like a fun team, it's just a recreational team. But I've never done that. I've only ever played in team sports when you are competing. So I've never done a fun recreational team sport.
See, I'm flipping that, because I'm now going to a point where I'm seeking that group team culture, because I've been by myself writing for so long now, and like even in my old job, like when you get to a certain level of management, you're basically alone anyway. So I'm now in this position where it's like I really want that like community group thing that's separate from writing as well, because that's the big part of me wanting to join a basketball team, is like it's something just away from writing, something that I'm passionate about, something that I love, that is different. And it gives me a break.
But that's so interesting, because I want and need exactly the same thing, but I go to a taekwondo club where it's a family club, but the sport is reliant on you yourself. But I also, one of the reasons I go to taekwondo is for that very needing a team, a family, and taekwondo is such a family sport, and it really does feel like a team, but your performance is based on yourself alone. Right, I have another podcast to record, so how are we leveling? I know, let's wrap this baby up. How are we leveling up our business this week?
I need to. Oh shit, that's good timing. Well, tomorrow I need to upload the document for the pre-order for book 2 by tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna have to do that tonight. Holy crap, that snuck up. Jesus. And then next week I'm launching a book episode 2 in When Winter Comes, and I will also have made a significant this is all happening so quickly. I will have made a significant dent into the first draft of episode 3, which comes out on the 29th of July.
Oh my god, you are such a machine.
I've done something wrong.
What have you done?
No, it's just a time constraint of like making it happen. But the thing is, partly I chose this to push me into making it happen, because otherwise I'd keep like just pushing it back. But it's crept up on me. I do need to upload the document.
So you're terrified about the things you just committed to. Is that what you mean?
Well, episode 3 is coming out on the 29th. I've promised it to people. It's going to happen. I haven't put a word to paper yet, and it's 20,000 words. So I've got 2.5 weeks.
Yes, otherwise you get another forfeit. Hey, then it would be.
It's fine. I'll make it happen.
Okay, so this week I am going to work on Trey. Still, again, more. Hopefully I will be faster, please, Karma. And I will also work on more slide decks. Oh, and fun one, which is not accountability, but fun one. We're getting, fingers crossed, our carpet's delivered on Wednesday and installed on Wednesday, which means, fingers crossed, I should have a completed office next time we record. And that's if I have the time to unpack everything and sort everything out. So yeah, fingers crossed. But that will be a fun one. Not accountability, just in case.
No carpets, forfeit.
Yeah. Audience question of the week. So I think we should ask the guys this and you know, be brutally honest. You're probably all judging me for being highly competitive now, but anyway,
I think people don't expect it from you, to be honest.
What? Oh my god! Really?
If it's number one, if it's number one on your personality thing, and if people have listened to this week after week, I think people have get that there's probably some element of competitiveness in you. Maybe not to the degree that you've displayed, but I think people won't be surprised that you and I are competitive people.
I'm speechless.
Which I know you have to go, but also flipping this, I've suddenly thought to the right as well. Hi, Jay. In which those two don't seem competitive at all.
Yeah, fine.
I may be misrepresenting you, and I apologise if I am, but yeah, that's the impression I get.
Yeah. Oh God, why are we doing this podcast? I'm exposing myself in ways I'm just so uncomfortable over.
Because we want to have a record of us ruining our reputation.
You are ruining my life, Daniel.
And you love it.
I know. Oh, I'll see you next week.
Bye.
No, you haven't asked the question. Oh my God. This is such a shit show this week. Okay. Audience question of the week. I completely lost it. Audience question of the week is, what did I ask? How do you use competition to level up? How do you use competition to level up your own business? Say goodbye, we've got to end this. Bye, Daniel.